Hi everybody, I'm Jared Pike. This is Shell Point Today for Thursday, July 25th. On today's show, we offer more information on the upcoming digital TV transition. We'll also go around the world, literally, with Jim and Ginny Plummer, who recently spent 4 months on the water during an around-the-world cruise. But first, a reminder for those of you who are in love with the Constitution. July is a good month to talk about it, obviously, and it's a favorite topic of Norton McKnight of Lucena. He's putting on part 2 of his presentation, What We Learned Wrong in Civics. It's happening today at 1 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands, and all are welcome. And at 3 o'clock, you can learn about massage and how it relates to LifeQuest. Earlier this week, Robin Church introduced us to our newest massage therapist, Robert Bissett. Now, if you want to take advantage of his services, here's the perfect opportunity. If you pay $5 to attend this class, you'll get in return a $5 gift certificate to the Shell Point Salon and Spa, so you can try massage for yourself. Learn more at Robin's Health Connection class, happening today at 3 p.m. in the Oak Room at the Woodlands. Coming up, we're talking about Shell Point's transition to digital TV. Now, I hear what you're saying. You're saying, Jared, there was a digital TV segment on last week. Why do you keep talking about this? Well, there's a very simple answer. It's because we're in the television business, and we want you, our television audience, to be ready when the August 14th switchover occurs. So right up until that day, we're going to keep talking about it so that you have as much information as possible. Now, in this segment, Peter, Burt, and I discuss the basics of the digital TV transition. Hi everybody, it's Jared Pike here with Shell Point TV. We've got some important news for you about a transition Shell Point is going through to a new method of transmitting our television signal. And this impacts everybody at Shell Point. So we brought with us to explain it Peter Burt from Technical Support Services. How are you, Peter?
Hi, Jared. Good. How are you?
Well, this is very exciting. This is going to be a big switch, a big change for people. And we need just the basic question, first of all. What are we changing from? What are we changing to? What's the switch?
We are switching from a signal that's called analog and going to a signal that's called digital.
And analog is just how television has been transmitted since the invention of television.
Digital has some distinct advantages. The picture quality is far greater than analog.
Through a digital signal, we can get not only a better picture, but for Shell Point, it means more channels and...
Definitely more channels.
And more HD.
More HD, correct.
Now, one thing that residents have asked for is the ability to use a TiVo or a digital video recorder, and that was a little bit difficult before.
It was in the past. With our new system, the TiVo units will work with our new system. That's for great. Every channel.
For every channel. That's great news. Now, there are some action items here. For example, your TV set may or may not need to be changed. If you have a modern TV that kind of looks like this, it's a flat screen. Most of these new modern TVs have digital tuners built in.
Anything that was manufactured since 2007.
Okay. Now, if you have a TV like this one, and you can tell it's older because it's heavy, it's got this stuff in the back, and it's hot, this will not work after August 13th. Okay? So if you've got a TV like this, you have a few months to either get a new TV or get a box like this. So kind of explain how that would work.
Correct. Now, Shell Point will be offering converter boxes. We're going to be making a bulk purchase to get the best price, and we're going to be offering them to the residents at Shell Point cost, which is $100. We will be ordering them and installing them for the residents that need them installed. If you do need one, please call the 454-2190 number, and they will fill out the proper paperwork and have it sent to you.
So let's recap. If you own a TV like this one, flat screen, it's rectangular, it's relatively modern, you're good to go. When the new digital signal comes, you'll get it. If you've got an older school TV like this one, it's not going to work with our new system. So you either need to get a new TV or purchase one of these converter boxes that they are offering from Technical Support Services. Now, in the future weeks here at ShellPoint TV, we're going to go over the details of the differences between a TV like this and a TV like this. But for now, these are the important things you need to know. And also the date. Peter, tell us the day when all of this is going to happen.
Transition is going to take place on the night of August 13th. It'll happen very late in the night so that when you wake up in the morning on August 14th, you will have digital signal.
Wednesday, August 14th, new TV system, new channels, new HD.
All new.
All new. And so this is going to be very exciting, but we're going to guide you through, folks. This is a new thing, and we're going to take you every step along the way. So watch ShellPoint TV in the coming weeks, and we'll explain all the details about what kind of TV you need, what the advantages and disadvantages are, and how you can help this transition. And in the meantime, Peter, if people need information about this transition, what can they do?
They can call the call center, the One Call Does It All number, and we'll be glad to either visit them or call them back and give them all the information they need, answer any questions they have.
So that's 454-2190. Call the call center if you have any questions. And also tune into ShellPoint TV. We'll be bringing you more information as we go on. For ShellPoint TV, this is Jared Pike. Our next story involves a ShellPoint couple who were away from Fort Myers this year from January to May. Wait a minute. Isn't that when snowbirds usually travel to Fort Myers? Well, in this case, they have a good excuse for missing the whole season. They were on an around-the-world cruise. This 4-month-long trip is the latest in a long list of destinations the Plumbers have visited in their travels. So many that we had to zoom through a lot of them to fit them all in a 10-minute segment. Here are the highlights of Jim and Ginny Plummer and their cruise around the world.
I was in the Air Force for a long time, and then we traveled all over the world together while we were in the military service. Wherever we went, we had fun. We enjoyed seeing things, traveling, and that was something that we've always done.
I always wanted to go on this, and we signed up for a Around the World cruise about 1.5 years in advance, and we followed the blogs of other people who were on the cruise for that whole 1.5 years to see what it would be like. So we were well prepared. So we started in Fort Lauderdale. We went through the Panama Canal.
Left Peru and headed westbound, and the first stop was Easter Island, which is one of the bucket list items that we wanted to see, but unfortunately the weather was a little rough and the waves were pretty high.
So we sat up in the bar and we saw the statues.
And then Pitcairn Island, after Easter Island, that's where the Fletcher Christian and the mutineers ended up on Pitcairn Island, and their families' descendants are still there. But it turned out that everybody on the island had some vicious flu. How in the world it got out to Pitcairn Island, I cannot imagine. They did come out to the ship. Our ship gave them a bunch of supplies, food and other stuff that they wanted. So next island after Pitcairn was Tahiti.
Tahiti. Papeete.
Papeete, and we didn't do too much there. We'd not only been there on our honeymoon, but we'd been back a second time.
For our second honeymoon.
And from there we went to New Zealand. And we spent a week in 5 different ports in New Zealand. That was probably our favorite location where we traveled. The weather was magnificent, and the people were so friendly and so nice, and there was so much to see and do. And
we were in Napier, and they just happened to have a bagpipe contest, and all these different bagpipe groups were there. We went to the Marine Museum in Auckland, where they had a lot of information about the America's Cup.
I went on just a wonderful hiking trip there with a group of wilderness hikers, and had a great time.
And we went to a sheepdog demonstration. I mean, we also got to see all the animals down there, the kangaroos, the wombats. Yep. We went down to Tasmania, saw the Tasmanian devils. After
we left New Zealand, then we went across to Australia and had just fantastic time in Sydney, as everyone does. We sailed south from Sydney around the southern part of Australia. So we went to Adelaide and Kangaroo Island, and then up to Perth, Fremantle, spent 2 nights there. And then we went up to Indonesia. So we went to Bali and to Makassar, another island in Indonesia. We went up into the Philippines, and those are 2 of the best islands, Puerto Princesa and Manila. And really, the people were really genuinely excited to see us and happy we were there, and went out of their way. When you left the ship, there was all kinds of people there to greet you and welcome you. And then we left and went to Hong Kong. We enjoyed Hong Kong immensely. There's so much, again, to see and do. And I had been there 40 years ago also. And I thought they couldn't build any more buildings 40 years ago, and they're just massive now.
At night, they have an illumination of the buildings. We were just on the deck, and they have lasers, and the buildings all light up different colors. It's just beautiful. It really is. And we went out into the harbor to one of the famous floating restaurants. Hong Kong was very nice.
We went to Vietnam, to Nha Trang, and had a wonderful visit there also.
In Vietnam, we took a great tour, and we went to a noodle factory where they were making the noodles, and it must have been 200 degrees in there, and it was just, I don't know. We didn't want to eat noodles the rest of the trip, let me tell you. We went to where they made the little Vietnamese hats.
We ended up in Singapore and spent 2 days in Singapore. We went up to Malaysia and Thailand, a couple of islands up the coast, up to Phuket. I went up to the top of the mountain there on a tram. It was beautiful. From there we went over to Sri Lanka. This is another thing, we went out to a tea plantation. And we left there and went straight across the Indian Ocean, stopped at the Seychelles Islands, and then went to Madagascar.
Nosy Bee. That's where I got this necklace.
Yeah,
I think it's a palm nut, someone said, but it's from Nosy Bee, which is a small island off Madagascar, famous for the lemurs. That's where one of the few places lemurs live in the world. So we went to Mozambique, which was really a very interesting city, Mobutu.
And from there we went into South Africa and went to 1, 2, 3 ports in South Africa. Went to Richards Bay and then into Durban. And in both locations we went on little mini safaris, day safaris into smaller safari areas. And the first day in Richards Bay, it was just pouring down rain, so it wasn't much fun.
All the animals were too smart to come out.
In Durban, we had more success on the little mini safari there.
What did you see?
Saw a lot of wild animals.
The Cape buffalo.
The zebras, the giraffes, things like that.
Wildebeest.
The big surprise was Cape Town. We knew nothing about Cape Town at all.
It's a great city.
What a wonderful city that is. A very international, cosmopolitan city over in Namibia.
It was one of my favorite stops. They have these huge colonies of flamingos. The part we were in were these fantastic sand dunes, just hundreds of feet high, that go right down to the ocean. I am not very brave. And this tour, I kept on asking our friend who did it, well, we're just going to go look at the sand dunes. She said, yeah, we're just going to go look at them. So we go out in the four-wheel drive. We went right up them in the four-wheel drive and right over the top.
Yeah.
Right over the top.
That was great.
It was great fun. And then we had lunch out in the middle of this bowl of sand dunes, and they bring out fresh oysters and all this stuff and wine. It was just incredible. We did have a good adventure there. It was just a beautiful place.
From that point on, we go across the South Atlantic and we stop first at St. Helena, which is a very small island out there. And if you've heard of it at all, you're going to know that that's where Napoleon Bonaparte was exiled, out in the middle of the absolute middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And so we visited his home, Napoleon Bonaparte's home, and his grave site where he was originally buried. By the time we got to the equator, we made 2 stops in Brazil, at Fortaleza and then at Belém. Belém being the entryway to the Amazon, trekking in the jungle, in the Amazon jungle there, and had a pretty good time.
St. Lucia.
St. Lucia. I got off and wandered. I did a lot of walking around town, which we've been there too many times before. And it's an island, it's nice. And then back to Fort Lauderdale. So it was 115 days, close to 50 port stops. We had 19 formal parties on board the ship, so we had to have the tuxedo and all the right gowns, and you get to know everybody. After a 1-week cruise, you're just somebody that's coming and going, but on a long 4-month cruise like that, you're part of the family.
It was hard to come back. It was bad having to make our own bed after 4 months. That
Do your
was
own cooking.
not a good feeling.
So I'd recommend it to anybody that has 4 months free time.
Have you heard about someone's amazing travels at Shell Point? Well, let us know about it. Call me at 489-8431 or email me at jaredpike@shellpoint.org, and let's experience the travelogue together. For now, it's time to cover all of today's happenings from Resort Services, followed by your Academy News, menus, and Village Church connections.
Welcome to the Happenings segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley, and I'm going to go over our activities that we have offered here at Shell Point today. We're going to start out bright and early with the Health Connections class, Bend, Breathe, and Balance. That'll be down in the Health Club on the island. 8 o'clock's the time the Men's Golf Association will be starting off their game down at the Shell Point Golf Club. Also at 8 o'clock, we have the Round Robin Men's Doubles Tennis going on at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. Now, the paddlers will be gathering at the Kayak Storage Facility at 8:30 for their weekly outing. You must have your own boat to participate. Then 9:15, the shuffleboard players will be down at the shuffleboard court behind the Resident Activity Center. At 9:30, we have current events being discussed in the game room of the Woodlands. Also, at 9:30, we have the ladies' match play tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. At 9:45, we're offering an introduction to beginning line dancing class in the Health Club. 10:15, we have basic line dancing in the Health Club. And our last line dancing for the morning is 11:15 with advanced line dancing in the Health Club. We're going to continue on into the afternoon with a 1:15 activity of Mahjong in the Library Lounge. And 1:30 we have a Walk With Me support group. That'll be in the hospitality room of the Village Church. 2:45 is the time we have the Health Connections class, Balance and Mobility Training Level 2 in the Health Club. That is currently full. And another Health Connections class at 3 o'clock, pole walking. This is the Insider Workshop at the church auditorium. Sign up is required. Then again at 3 o'clock we have a Health Connections Your Life Quest and Massage Therapy. That'll be in the Oak Room of the Woodlands. Sign up is required. Our seamstress will be here for her weekly service in the Osprey Room at 4 o'clock. Then at 4:30 the Alcoholics Anonymous meeting will be in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. We round out the evening at 7 o'clock with Peanut Gold. That'll be played in the Library Lounge on the island. And that's our activities for today. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Thursday. At 9:45, organizing your hard drive continues in the Computer Teaching Center on the island. And at 1 o'clock, we have the second session of What We Learned Wrong in Civics. This will take place in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands. At 1:15, the power of right-clicking Windows 7 continues in the Computer Teaching Center on the island.
Menus for your Thursday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is sweet and sour pork with lo mein and bok choy. For dinner, it's the Crystal Carving Board for $10.95, and the soup of the day is country cabbage. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Thursday, there's a roast beef club with fries for $6.95, and for dinner, the special is Thai night for $7.95. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Thursday are New York Strip for $17.95 or cod for $15.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm Andy Hawkins, the senior pastor of the Village Church, and we're delighted that you are able to join us for this session. You know, one of the things that is attractive to me about ministering here at the Village Church is how important the Village Church is as an integral part of the Shell Point retirement community. You know, ever since I arrived from the very beginning, everyone on the Shell Point staff, whether they attend church here or not, commented to me on how important the Village Church is to the nature and character of the Shell Point retirement community. So I knew when I came that I was coming to a community that valued the church. And so it was with those thoughts in mind that I decided that the book of Ephesians would be my first sermon series. And that's because Ephesians is a book about the church. And that's church, by the way, with a big C. That's what the Apostles' Creed calls the Holy Catholic Church. The Holy Catholic Church refers to the Church Universal. That is all genuine believers in Jesus Christ. Those here, not only in the Shell Point retirement community, but also in Fort Myers and Lee County, in the state of Florida, in the United States, in fact, all across the world. Well, Ephesians highlights the extraordinary importance of the church. And that's why we called this series The Real Great Society. Now, of course, we all remember the Great Society as those social programs instituted during the Johnson administration, reforms which affected nearly every dimension of life: healthcare, education, welfare, the arts, and so forth. Well, as important as those societal commitments were, they pale in comparison to how God views the church universal. And the book of Ephesians teaches us that the church has an incredible origin in the eternal choice of God, an amazing high calling to be holy and blameless, and an enormous responsibility to live out that calling in practical ways, ministering to others, whether they are inside or outside of the church, with the gifts that God has provided. Now, none of that gets lived out in the abstract. The Church Universal is only evident in its local expressions, and those local expressions are real people with genuine relationships with Christ and with the gifts that God has provided, who are working in ministry to, as Paul says, grow up into Him who is the head, even Jesus Christ. And that's why I love the ministry here at the Village Church. We are a people seeking to live out that high calling. Not a perfect people, far from it, but a people who are committed to the goal as Ephesians lays it out for us. And so I would encourage you today in two ways. First, I would encourage you to recognize how God views the church universal, how He loves the church, cares for the church, gifts the church, and that whatever view you used to have of the church, I pray that that view would be elevated and that you would begin to think about the church the way God thinks about it. And secondly, I would encourage you to invest yourself in the local expression of the Church Universal. Whether that would be the Village Church or another local church, I trust that you would find God working in and through the people who have a genuine relationship of faith in Jesus Christ. Those are the things that we're learning together as we study the book of Ephesians. And I trust that you will discover these and other truths as you commit yourselves to the life and ministry to your local church. We'll be continuing our study of the book of Ephesians. We're just about halfway through it, and so I trust that you'll be able to join us one way or another, whether you attend the church or perhaps picking it up on Shell Point TV. So blessings to all of you, and thank you for joining us here at Village Church Connections.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow as Finemark Bank tells us how to avoid financial scams that target seniors. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Thursday, July 25th. I'm Jared Pike, and from all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.